Now, another document that I'm looking here, one of the official letters from back then, says persons who have caused confusion and trouble and are yet causing it through improper or anti-divine instructions are herein listed and are as follows. The very first name is C. Kerman Bey, ex-advisor, credentials revoked in 1930. M. Dove Ill, ex-governess, credentials revoked in 1930. T. W. Owsley Bey, ex-governor, credentials revoked in 1930. F. Nelson Bey. Now, F. Nelson Bey is the person who took over C. Kerman Bey body after C. Kerman Bey passed. So when C. Kerman Bey left the actual Moor Science of America and formed his own group, when he passed for F. Nelson Bey took over for him. And F. Nelson Bey right here says his credentials were revoked in 1930 by the real Moor Science of America. Then you have E. Mentor Bey, who credentials revoked. M. Cliff Bey, credentials revoked. M. Childs Bey, credentials revoked. H. Glover Bey, credentials revoked. G. Smith Bey, credentials revoked. M. Dove Ill, credentials revoked. J. Frey Senior Bey, credentials revoked. J. Williams Bey, credentials revoked. W. Smith Bey, credentials revoked. And then two names that I want to make sure y'all get loud and clear. G. Cook Bey, credentials revoked. I. Cook Bey, credentials revoked. M.L. Washington Bey, credentials revoked. And into these names, there's a bunch of other names listed. But I wanted to make sure y'all got that together. That C. Kerman Bey was revoked. Had all his credentials revoked. He was nothing but a regular member. That's it. Your boy G. Cook Bey and I. Cook Bey. G. Cook Bey founded Temple number 13 and I. Cook Bey founded Temple number 19. Both of them had their credentials revoked. As of 1930, the convention of 1930, they were no longer anything. They had no power and authority, nothing, in the Moor Science of America. Right? Now that's an important thing to remember. What the organization that C. Kerman Bey founded officially was founded in 1934. So 4 years later, where they had absolutely no power and authority in the actual Moor Science of America, what they did was they founded their own called the Moor Science of America Inc. Right? But ink is a coloring, it's a dye. And so they are the dyed Moor Science of America. They are the dead Moor Science of America. Now, what happened was after they left and had all their credentials revoked, C. Kerman Bey tried to take Emilio to court. Now, with some more letters, Emilio writes to a brother in Richmond, Virginia, a brother J. Mosby Ill in Richmond, Virginia. He writes him saying, speaking of the trial came out just as I told them. The judge settled the case in favor of the prophet. So he did when the case was called in February the 18th. You see the case this time was set first for 3/11/32, but they were told by the judge if the case was not filed for hearing 10 days had been presented, it would be too late. So the lawyer did not, or he forgot to do so. At any rate, it was filed. And in the meantime, lawyer had asked for 30 days to prepare his papers. So instead of 4/11/32, it was the 4/21/32. And as soon as the judge looked at the case and saw the nature of it, he said dismissed. So I don't know if they are satisfied or not, but we're going to have it so fixed that when we desire to praise our God and his prophet, we can do so without being disturbed. Right? That's talking about because it was C. Kerman Bey was trying to take over the real Moor Science of America that they had left and had all their credentials revoked from. Right? They were still trying to hunt them down. So even in 1932, Emilio was fighting off these fools. Now, another that I got, it talk about from the court system to Emilio. It say kindly acknowledging receipt of $120 for professional services rendered in the case of Moor Science of America, a corporation by C. Kerman Bey versus Emilio. This is to further state that the verdict was entered in favor of the defendant, which was yourself, Emilio, by Judge Eberhardt in the municipal courtroom 913 on May 7, 1931, case number blah, 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 blah. So in another case in 1931, C. Kerman Bey had lost. So that's two cases C. Kerman Bey had lost, one in 1931 and one in 1932. Now, speaking about the one in 32, it says a letter by Emilio to brother Joe Mosley Bey, again in Richmond, Virginia. It says, "My dear brother, I am sure you and as many as are interested in the welfare and outcome of the trial, you wanted to hear the results which you shall have in full. In the outset, I want to say to all, Allah is mine and always will be, and in him through I live and have my being. Speaking of the case, it was as I said, and I spoke, the prophet guided me. I told the people when they went to court, they would find things far different than what they thought, because there's a difference in our minds and that which is law. The idol of the people of the world lost it in the case to the anointed one, noble Drew Ali. And when he was here, he said, you follow where I lead and victory is yours." Now, this is where the letter gets a little dark, but I'm going to read all the parts that I can read so you can get a full understanding. "I have all of his to be right in all of his ways. Kirby and Bay told it in court that he was the head of the organization, and he could remember where he was made advisor and when elected, but he couldn't remember when he was unmade or voted out in the convention. And the judge told him he was only self-appointed. The judge looked at the paperwork and looked at C. Kirby Bay in the face and told him he was only self-appointed." All right, now, the same judge told him that he was not the Supreme Grand Advisor of the Moor Science of America. Now, in this case, C. Kirby Bay also told the judge that when he went to court, Emilio says that when I went to court, that I had no right as charge of the Moor Science of America. Right, that's what C. Kirby Bay told the judge, that he had no right to be called the head of the Moor Science of America. But he said then, but I went to court as Emilio, Supreme Grand Sheikh, and came out the same. So C. Kirby Bay went to court talking about he was the Supreme Grand Advisor, and the judge told him he wasn't. He was self-appointed, that was not a real title in the Moor Science of America. But when Emilio went in there as the Supreme Grand Sheikh, he came out as the Supreme Grand Sheikh, the head of the Moor Science of America. And then Emilio says, so you can see he was defeated every way he had planned out. He and all of his followers were badly disappointed. All of his followers were badly disappointed. They all went in there thinking they could take the title from Emilio and couldn't. And later on, they took him back to court a year later and they still lost. That's the reality behind C. Kirby Bay versus Emilio.